Hello, and welcome to PTC Cast episode 55. Today, Chris and I talk about creating your own cardio routine. Hustling, bustling, building that cardio, building that stamina.
Heart rate up.
Yes, sir. Burning some calories, improving the heart, improving your ability to work out. The strongest muscle in your body. This
No,
episode,
if your heart is going like that, you need to,
maybe not that, yeah. This episode is brought to you by ProgressThroughChange.com, where you can get your 4 Easy Habits for Fat Loss guide. It is about a 5-10 second PDF download that will change how you look at fat loss and will 100% without a doubt work.
Oh, yeah.
If you apply it and you do it for real, it'll work. I'm willing to bet.
Yes, sir.
Check it out.
What are we talking about today?
Building the cardio routine. Cardio is hardio. Cardio is a okay.
Cardio.
Yeah. Everybody's probably least favorite thing. Most people's least favorite thing.
But it is the new year, and
True.
so most people are probably going into the gym to do cardio.
True. That's a good point. I will say cardio for me personally, it's always with walking core, man.
Mm.
It's almost always walking core. I had a spin bike for a little bit. It was uncomfortable on my ass, so I got rid of it. But
They're so uncomfortable.
yeah, but so usually cardio for me is a core walk. But yeah, I would like to talk about building your own cardio routine today. For a couple different goals or situations, or just kind of maybe we'll say things to think about and kind of ways you can create your own routine based on who you are and what your life is like and what you're trying to achieve, right? Mm-hmm. So starting off, when you think of cardio, what do you think?
I think of different forms of cardio. Higher intensity cardio, lower intensity cardio. I guess ultimately it's just movement.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like walking.
Right.
I think that that's a form of cardio. Before I lost all that weight, I didn't think so.
Yeah.
And then, it can be that all the way up to lifting, I guess, fast with not a lot of rest times.
Yeah.
Like I feel like that's cardio.
Yeah, for
be a
sure.
lot of
No,
things.
people will. Yeah, I was gonna say people do use weights as a means for cardio. I don't know if it's the best pick, but people
I
do
don't
for
think
sure.
so either. But
People do for sure. But okay, yeah. So basically, man, cardio is just elevating your heart rate, usually for sake of heart health, burning some calories, being in a fat loss phase. Something that's really underappreciated about it. It can help you improve how much volume you can do within a session.
Oh, yeah.
So everybody and their mom does cardio with me. It doesn't matter who you are. We're going to have some sort of cardio at the end of your session or within there. The only people that don't are the ones that I know are doing cardio on their own, or I have a guy who's a apartment manager and does like 45,000 steps a day, so I don't make him do cardio.
45,000.
Yeah. So, but anyways, point being there, man, I have most people do cardio because I think the benefits that come with it, even if you're not focused on fat loss or whatever, are huge. And especially looking at the people who are just trying to get big and huge, it makes it so you can do more volume, man. And if you want to get big and huge, you need to be able to handle your volume. So it's necessary for everyone depending on who you are.
I remember when I was in the middle of my powerlifting career, it would probably take me like 10, 15 minutes in between each set.
Yeah.
And then after I started training cardio, it was like I would have to put on a timer to force myself to wait. Because my body was already recuperated and ready to go.
Do you remember when I was prepping for the 2018 Kuklo and I would do like an hour on the stairs?
Oh, yeah.
And you would come stand next to me, but you wouldn't like walk on the treadmill or anything. You started near the end, but there was like 12 weeks of my prep where I would do cardio on your shift. And so we'd hang out and you would just be standing on the treadmill, not walking on.
Yeah, I remember that, dude.
Didn't even want to put it on a 2 pace. You're like, nah, bro.
Hell
we're just,
no.
Yeah.
At that time, it was a pride thing, too. I was like, cardio?
Like, I don't
nah,
do
I'm
cardio.
a
Yeah, nah,
powerlifter.
that's for
Fuck
this prissy boy over here doing
No.
the Stairmaster, bro. Come on. No, that's yeah. But so when we talk about cardio, man, it's some people's brains immediately go to running, and my brain immediately strays far away from running. And not that there's anything wrong with running, especially if you are a runner, someone who has practiced it, done it a lot, particularly when you're younger and kind of worked your way up and done it your whole life kind of thing. If you're someone who's made for it, does it frequently kind of thing. Point being, where I'm trying to go there is cardio is a means to elevate your heart rate. And when we talk about things like running, Stairmaster, rowing, swimming, those are all great forms of cardio in that they burn an ass load of calories. And they're going to elevate your heart rate and do what you want them to do. But they're also incredibly taxing. they're also they also come with a price. And so when I say that, again, it's not to gatekeep or scare anyone around exercise or anything like that, but you just want to keep in mind, if you're swimming an hour every day, you might not be building a lot of muscle right now. If you're swimming, or if you're doing 45 minutes a day on the Stairmaster and then you're trying to go train legs, that's not really the best approach, man. So where I'm trying to go with this is when we talk about cardio, don't just straight go to running. Don't just straight go to like one thing or the other. I said walking because that's what works best for me and who I am, but it might not be for you. Maybe you want something different. But again, when we sit here and talk about cardio, they're not all created equally, but I would say they're all used as a tool to elevate your heart rate to some point, right? So for most people, I default to walking, man. And the biggest reason why is you need to be able to live your life. For a lot of people, surprisingly, it's almost mobility work. It's almost, just moving your hips repetitively like that. Yeah, I mean, do you ever get like a hip flexor pump or like a lower back pump or anything like that after walking for a while?
I did when I first started doing the walks to lose weight. You know, I could only walk down the block and back, and then I'd have to rest.
Oh, yeah. I remember whenever I first got my job at Starbucks, which was even before I worked at the gym, I had been pretty like gamer mode before that, just sitting down all the time. And I would work out here and there, but I wasn't like ever on my feet a lot. And dude, my back would just be torn apart all day because I was never on my feet walking or moving. So anyways, that's why walking goes for me, not to mention the benefits of being outside, bonding with your dog, building that routine, whatever it might be. And it's a little bit of like a woo-woo spiritual thing for me as well, right?
Yeah.
Like for me, walking is an experience. But I know some people feel like they need something that is like a constant challenge or something they can progress at. So maybe that is running. Maybe that is, the Stairmaster. Maybe that is swimming or whatever. But again, keeping in mind that those things can come with a little bit of a price as far as they burn a lot more calories. They ask a lot more of your recovery systems, and they're going to beat up on you a little bit more.
Yeah, and for a lot of the people who are, heavier set, one of the first things that they pop into is the running.
Oh yeah.
But they don't know
your
the
knees
consequences.
Will last a day, man. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember when I was doing all that running, it started hurting to walk.
Yeah.
Like to move around, to do anything, the shin splints, the knee aches, the ankle, like literally my ankles didn't want to move anymore because of how all of that impact from the running.
Because you just tried to go kind of balls to the wall, like immediately start running.
Yeah, exactly. So choosing the right form of cardio is definitely something very important.
Something that's important to keep in mind is it's definitely something you build up and taper into. I'm not sitting here and saying nobody can run, right? But maybe if you're someone who's been couch potato, you're starting brand new this new year, maybe we start with 30-minute walks 3 times a week, and then maybe we can, walk 2 minutes, jog 30 seconds, walk 2 minutes, not even jog, power walk. You know what I mean? Like this, make as many steps as you need to for your body to acclimate, whether that's just your heart rate catching up, whether that's your joints, tendons, and ligaments catching up, whether that's just building a routine that's realistic and you don't feel like you're murdering yourself every time. Like make as many steps for yourself as you need to get to that point. Like a lot of people think right out the gate, 1,000 calories a day, 3 hours of running every morning. You know what I mean? Like,
and I'll say,
you don't have to.
Yeah, I tried that, and you hit a wall really quick, like within the next couple of days.
Yeah, and it's not like people think it's their ability to do it, and it's not your ability to do it. I don't want to sit here and say you can't do it, but it's like you're not made to go from one extreme to the other like that. Yeah. If you would give yourself those stepping stones, you could achieve the same result, maybe even in the same time period, without the pain, without the the BS that comes with it. If you're just willing to let that slow taper up, it's like the diet trap, right? Like you go 1,000 calories a day and then you can't lose any weight, so you got to go 900 calories a day. When you could have started with 2,000 calories a day and then went 1,900. You know what I mean? It's the same approach, right? The body is based off adaptations, so we don't need to dive head first into a 100-foot deep pool. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So when we're talking about cardio and methodologies, don't think about it too much, man. Go with what you feel is best for you, and you can even adjust some of those things. So maybe you're someone who wants to build legs and wants to do cardio, and you love the Stairmaster. Okay, maybe we just do less quantity then. Maybe we do 5 minutes at the end of your session or something like that. Maybe you're someone who doesn't like the high impact and wants to watch a movie while you're walking on the treadmill, well then, man, do an hour every other day and do a 2 pace and a 5 incline. You know what I mean? Make it something a little bit more casual that you can work up to. Like, if you look at all these levers as far as intensity, duration, methodology, and you kind of let one push and one pull, you can adjust and kind of play with these things however you see works best for you. So I know, like, whenever you had first started losing weight, you were doing a lot of elliptical, right?
Yeah.
And you would do it like all day. And I'm sure you were working hard within the context, but it's not like that elliptical was like, you know, a 40-yard dash, right?
Exactly.
Like it was something.
The intensity was low.
Maintained. You're watching movies or watching TV or whatever. You know what I mean? So that was kind of like the intensity wasn't there, but you were doing it for a long time. It was low impact, and so you could still achieve the result.
Yeah, I think when it comes to cardio, the first thing is like choose a goal. You know, like what is the purpose of you know, you doing cardio?
What's the context?
Exactly. So whenever I wanted to pop in cardio into my training routine, I was thinking about me as a cross-country runner, as, you know, freaking teenager.
Yeah.
That context did not
You're
fit.
like, oh,
into
5 miles after I train squats.
Exactly. At 365 pounds.
Yeah.
Like, no, that's not going to, or I think it was like 330. Like, no, that's not going to work.
Yeah.
And then after, you know, I hit a wall with that, I was like, okay, well, you know, what's the goal? And, you know, to lose fat. And, you know, eventually I want to start running, but right now I can't run. So, you know, what do I do? Well, something low impact, something that I can do over a longer period of time with low intensity and still get results, the elliptical. So, yeah, it was really just getting clear on why I even want to do cardio. Yeah. And then figuring out the process to get that goal. Yeah. Like a couple months ago, I put cardio back into my diet. My training routine. And the goal was to run, you know, a 6-minute mile. And then with that, I was able to choose the appropriate, you know, cardio regimen in order to do that. And worked out great.
Yeah, I'm sure you had to maybe pull back on legs a little bit, right?
You had to pull back on weight
and
training.
Maybe you had to eat a little bit more in the mornings before you ran, or you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like there's different things you needed to do but it's interesting that you said that, because that was the goal of doing a specific thing in a specific time, an athletic endeavor, right? Whereas I think most of the time when we talk about cardio, people are thinking of fat loss or burning calories, right? So I think I'm glad that you said that, the goal specific, right? That was why you chose to run, was because that was the goal. You wanted to do a 6-minute mile. Does that make sense?
Yeah, exactly. Because a lot of people, they'll have, like, their intention is to lose weight, but then they'll go about it as an athlete.
Right.
You know?
Right. And it's like, look, if you want to be an athlete, you might need to be giving yourself some extra calories. You might need to be pulling back your weights elsewhere and focusing on this only. Whereas if you want to do fat loss, well, hey, we need to be doing cardio that you can do sustainably, and we need to be keeping our calories relatively down. Our training needs to be sufficient, obviously. Yeah. But you're not eating, you know, you're not specifically eating sugar to fuel your run if you're trying to lose fat. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Then your goals are kind of a little mismatched there. So, yeah, that's a good point, man. So for me personally, when it comes to cardio, if you were to give me kind of an average Joe who was looking to just do a little body recomposition, wants to work out 3 or 4 days a week, usually what I'm going to do is I'm going to add 10 to 20 minutes of an incline walk on a treadmill at the end of their workout session. So honestly, in a perfect world, that cardio session would be placed separately or differently, but I'm not going to expect average Joe to go to the gym twice a day, right? That's not really necessary. So usually I start with a relatively decent pace, 2.0 to 3.0, a decent incline, 2.0 to 5.0, and then I try to work everybody up to anywhere from like a 3.0 to 3.5 speed and a 8 to 10 incline or something like that. Something where it's like we're moving the hips, we're moving the ankles, we're breathing hard, we're working, but we're still not like doing anything more than a power walk. So that's really just what I prefer personally for clients, especially those who are going down the fat loss route, because we're going to burn the calories, we're going to get the heart health, we're going to get the recovery benefits, we're going to get everything that comes from helping us do volume in our training, and it's going to be low impact on our joints, at least low impact later on as we kind of taper up to it. Low impact comparatively, I guess would be a better way to put it, right? So if we kind of work our way into an incline walk after doing a flat walk at a lower speed, we're going to be more prepped and prepared for that, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Sorry, I kind of jumbled my words a little bit there. But so point being, it's something that you want to taper up and into. That is going to be, if we're talking about fat loss, right? Outside of that, it's okay to be doing other cardio sessions outside on their own. Honestly, you can be doing daily low-intensity cardio sessions. Depending on if your calories are high enough and your recovery is good enough, maybe you could even be doing high-intensity cardio sessions where you're really getting after it every day. And, you know, I'm hesitant to sit here and define low and high intensity. I would like to just maybe keep those as relative terms, but typically, if I'm talking about intensity, I'm talking about heart rate.
Yeah.
So if I'm sitting here saying high intensity, it's something where it's balls to the wall. You're not really watching a movie. You're just trying to survive. Low intensity is maybe you're, you know, watching The Sopranos, drinking your water bottle, maybe talking to the guy on the treadmill next to you kind of thing. And there's nothing wrong with that. You know, it's just for context's sake, right? So typically I try to stay more on that low intensity end because we can get what we need. And it's not going to take away from any of our resistance training. It's not going to, I don't have to worry about joints, tendons, and ligaments. Now, if you're someone who is trying to like improve their cardio capacity, maybe you're trying to achieve an athletic endeavor, right? There's other reasons as to do a high intensity cardio modality or a cardio that's more specific to your goal. Maybe you're running on a track. Maybe you're swimming in an Olympic pool for laps. I mean, whatever that might be to you. You know what a Jacob's ladder is? You ever heard of that? There used to be one
machine,
at PAC.
Right?
Do you remember that? Yeah, it's the 45-degree ladder thing
Yeah.
for those crazy MFs out there that are just
I remember
climbing.
that shit, bro.
Yeah, man.
I've never seen anybody use those.
So, they're intense, man. They'll murder you. So when we're talking about that, one thing that's important to keep in mind is you need to be fueling for that. You need to be giving yourself extra calories and resources to do that thing, because one thing that I cannot stress enough, you cannot have athletic and physique goals at the same time. So maybe let me be more specific. Excuse me. You should not have fat loss and athletic goals at the same time, unless you are someone who is a hyper beginner and can afford to do both. And there's nothing wrong with that. But if I'm sitting here talking to Chris or maybe even an average Joe, I wouldn't try to do both those things at the same time. Reason being, if we're looking to improve athleticism, right, do better in our routine, we need to be upping our carbohydrates, and we need to be sure our recovery is where it needs to be. And our body can't be in a state where it's breaking things down. It needs to be in a state where it has enough fuel and nutrition coming in to be fueling those workouts. So that being said, when you're having the cardio discussion, like you were mentioning earlier, it's very important that you're specific with that goal.
Yes.
What is it that you're trying to get out of your cardio? And honestly, it's okay to just have cardio in as a routine. You know, you don't need to overthink it.
Yeah.
But I will say, if you're looking to specifically get something out of it, be sure you're being conscious of, okay, am I looking to get really good at it? Am I looking to burn some calories? Am I looking to build a habit? What is it that I'm looking to get out of this cardio?
That's making me think what my goal is with training right now.
So
I have no idea.
so here's how my cardio goes personally, and this is just because it works best in my life, and it works best in my life from a standpoint of lifestyle, how I like to start my day, and bodybuilding. Right, it fits my goals. It fits the way I need it to. So every morning I get up and I walk Cora either a 10-minute walk, that's a light casual walk with a cup of coffee, just kind of hanging out, or we go a 20-minute walk where I'm hustling, trying to make a time. So I have a certain route that we do if we're walking a little bit faster and a certain route that we do if we're walking a little bit slower. So I typically rotate those days. That way I'm having a little bit of a higher intensity day and then a little bit of a lower intensity day. So maybe if I'm training legs that day, I'll do the lower intensity one, right? Try to save some resources for my legs to recover. Maybe if I had a high calorie day yesterday, I'm going to go hit that cardio a little bit harder. So for me personally, cardio is just going to be more for habitual, keeping calories burnt, making my heart strong, being sure I can do my volume. Yeah, for me, cardio is a little bit more of maintenance. Now, for somebody else, it might be, okay, we're doing 30 minutes a day consistently of this specific routine. Right. What is your cardio routine right now?
What is my cardio? It's not there. It's
Come on, man. What you got? You were riding your bike for a while.
Yeah. Ever since I started, working as much as I do, training in general, honestly, has fallen to the wayside.
Ooh,
and I've been trying to figure out a way to, put it back in.
Yeah.
But yeah, just a bunch of conflicting things with no, certain structure.
Yeah.
When it comes to my schedule.
It happens, man. Life works in waves, So I know for me, like one way that helped me get cardio back into my routine was like making me feel like I was being productive. So I'd be listening to a podcast or I'd be watching like an informative video or something like that. You know what I mean? Or I'll be on like a business call or something like that. Like just try to make it so I'm doing something while I'm doing it.
Yeah. Sometimes I'll do the morning and nightly walks.
Yeah.
Yeah. But other than that, not much, man.
Yeah.
I guess in the weight training, I use cardio because my rest times are pretty quick.
You were biking for a little bit.
Yes, I was biking, but I haven't lately. So, oh no,
get back on your game, man. Come on.
I'm seeing all of this just.
Okay, so
the truth has come out.
The truth has come out. It's all out in front of us.
I'm gonna get booted from this podcast.
No, man, that's your seat, buddy. Okay, no, but one thing I would like to mention there, you had mentioned, you do get a little bit of cardio. Your heart is working when we're doing weight training, right? Especially if we're talking about high rep squats or leg presses or lunges or, you know what I mean? Those things that are really, jacking your heart rate up and making you work. Now, one thing I will say is I try not to program cardio weights unless I have to. Unless someone is like, that's the only way they'll resistance train or that's the only way they'll do cardio. The reason I really don't like to do that is, in my opinion, resistance training is used to build tissue, and that needs to be done in a controlled manner. And you can do that and achieve a cardio output, but usually when you have people do so many reps or such a decent enough weight that you're achieving a cardio output, they're going to get bored and lose form or not pay attention or start slinging and bouncing things around, So that's when we start talking about these movements I'm not a huge fan of, like, mountain climbers or burpees or, like big plyometric movements and things like that. I'm just not a
CrossFit.
Yeah, I mean, look, man, to each his own. If you're an athlete, more power to you. But if you're an average Joe, it might not be your pick.
Yeah.
But so that's kind of something that I think is important to mention there is if you're using weights as a means for cardio, you're probably not building muscle. I'd be willing to bet money you're not building muscle at the same time because the stimulus, the load is not enough. So that being said, you can be maybe training other muscles you wouldn't be training that way. So that could be, maybe we're doing plank holds for a long time or like these athletic movements that are a little bit more controlled. If that's like a, like a sled push or maybe the battle ropes or something of the sort, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
These kind of like more controlled athletic movements, we'll say. So maybe we're using some other muscles there, but I'm not going to sit here and tell you're going to build muscle on your biceps by doing, 100 rep curls and elevating your heart rate. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's one thing you have to keep in mind is ultimately you can't, there is no like coverall that's going to be, hey, this is your cardio and your weights and your muscle building and your fat loss and everything together. If that makes sense.
Yeah, you have to be specific on that goal and then just go for it. And
right.
You can do whatever else you want to do right after it.
Right.
But I think that's where a lot of people get confused, fall off, and then just get discouraged in general. Is they're trying to do 50 things that they think they can do all at once, when in reality, maybe they can only do 3 of those things.
Right. And then you end up doing all those things poorly.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? So yeah, it's no knock to anyone specific, but you see a lot of these people in the gym that like, look, man, for lack of a better term, murder themselves. I mean, we all know somebody in the gym who is constantly covered in sweat, working their ass off, just moving, but because of the way they move, the reps they do, the exercises they pick, they don't change.
Yeah,
and it's because they're doing a lot of things poorly, and so. Yeah, maybe it elevates their heart rate, but it also tears their elbow up, and it's only a 10-pound dumbbell, so it doesn't build enough tissue for them. You know what I mean? So
I think that's where, honestly, I think that's where I'm at right now. I don't have a specific goal that I'm trying to go for.
What's the specificity?
Yeah, and so I'm trying to do like, a bunch of
20 different things.
Yeah, like, you know, I was a power lifter, so it's like, okay, I know powerlifting training. Let me do that. Yeah. But then it's like, you know, I'm 213 pounds and I want to lose weight, so let me go do this. And then it's, well, I like boxing, so do I go do boxing? And then dirt bike riding. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you could do all of them. You just have to figure out how do you plan them together and how does your nutrition reflect that. And then also
nutrition. God.
And then also like there's also nothing wrong with your goal just being to be a well-rounded, healthy person that does activities they like. Like there's nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? Like no, dude, I'm serious. Like if you have 7 days in a week and you want to be active on every day, so you dirt bike twice, you box twice, you lift twice, and then you have once to do whatever. You know what I mean? Like it's not, you can have an upper body day and a lower body day when you're lifting. Like you might not be bodybuilding king, you might not be powerlifting king, but like you're living the active, healthy lifestyle and kind of covering all those bases, right?
I never thought about that. That's a good idea.
No, I'm serious, man. Because like there's nothing wrong with any of that. I think sometimes we think like we have to be bodybuilders or we have to be powerlifters or we have to be yoga people or we have to be this or that or this, and it's you have to be a cardio guy or a cyclist. And dude, you can be whatever mesh mix that you want to be. You know, I'm trying to be as big as I possibly can, but I'm doing yoga every morning. I'm walking the dog every morning. You know what I mean? So we cover the bases. There's nothing wrong with having that widespread goal. Just know what it is and know that you aren't working against yourself is the main thing I'm trying to say. You know, if you're trying to lose fat while you're doing all of that, don't be eating, you know, sugar before you're boxing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like figure out how are we going to work all this together. So I don't know. That was a tangent, but here we are.
Kind of some insight. I appreciate it. Man.
So cardio, elevate your heart rate. I don't want to sit here and give specifics.
It's really going to be specific to each person.
Yeah, and I one thing I do want to say is everybody wants to know about cardio and everyone wants to get on the treadmill, but a body transformation is founded in resistance training. Cardio is your extra sauce. To be honest, cardio, you're really not even going to burn that many calories, man. You're not going to burn that many calories and compared to what you could eat if you're fucking off with your nutrition. I mean, I'm serious. You could eat an entire day's worth of calories in an hour, and you could burn an entire day's worth of calories in 20 hours. You know what I mean? Like I heard the corniest phrase like 10 years ago, man. You can't compete with what you eat, and it's so true.
So true.
You cannot compete with what you eat. And so point being there is like the cardio is great. It is extra sauce. It is to help your heart rate. It is to help you do more with your resistance training. It is to help you live a healthy lifestyle, have a strong heart. But I would recommend keeping your nutrition in check, keeping your resistance training in check. Use it as a tool, not as the foundation of everything. You know what I mean? Don't be so obsessed with pounding your head against the wall on the treadmill. That's all I got. Mic drop. Is that what mic drop sound like now?
Heck yeah. And dropping it into the water.
Let's see if we got any questions. All right. This is a good and very relevant one. Running hurts my knees. Stairmaster hurts my knees. Elliptical and recumbent bike are the only things that work. Is that okay?
That is very much
Nailed
okay.
It. Recumbent bike is the lean back one, right?
I'm not sure.
Well, yes. Whatever works best for you is what you want to do. Again, to circle back, man, the name of the game here is to elevate the heart rate. So if you're somebody with bad knees, with a bad back, do something that's going to be the most comfortable and the most fitting for you. So
yeah, because this is something you're going to be doing for a long time.
100%, man. You know? Yeah, it's something that you want to be able to build a routine around. And we sit here and say the word routine probably every single podcast. Yeah. But really, the reason that's so important is it's got to be something that's like easy or doable for you or that you like or enjoy. And that might take you a while to find. You might have to mess with some different things. It might be outside. It might be seasonal. It might be, but I believe there's something out there for everybody that you'll enjoy in some way, shape, or form. I have one client who likes to run the bleachers. Can you believe that? Yeah.
That's some high school.
Yeah, thank you, man. I got other people who like to run. No way. That ain't me, man. I'm walking the dog. We're power walking. We're hustling. Yeah. Thank you all for listening. This has been episode 55. We will see you in the next one.